Hey there, you guys. Well, this past week was spent an incredible week. We have gone to the International Literacy Association. I got to take 6 tutors with me, and you're going to get to see some of those details as you continue watching this video. But what I love about continuing with professional development is finding new tools. And in this video, you're going to find out what my favorite tool was to be able to utilize in my online reading tutoring business. Hey everyone, my name is Joanne Kaminski, and as I mentioned earlier, we were in New Orleans this week. It was so much fun. I got to hang out. You know, it's one thing to be able to meet people online, but then to get to see them in real life is a completely whole nother experience. You know, it was really funny because when Victoria saw us, she was like, hey, you guys are in 3D. But the cool thing as well is that, you know, people are people, right? Like what the people in our community show here in the Ultimate Support Group and in the Insider Secrets Club is really who they are. Like, we don't pretend to be different people than what we actually are. And that's so much fun that we have this amazing community. Well, as I mentioned before, because I was at the International Literacy Association, I got the opportunity to see a really cool tool that's going to help kids that have dyslexia. But I also think that this could be a really great tool for kids that are beginning readers as well. And who knows, maybe as you're watching today, you may think of a really cool way to be able to utilize this resource so that you can show students that maybe are struggling with reading and you're teaching math how to be able to read some of the words. So I'm going to share this tool with you. It is all through what's called Immersive Reader in Onenote. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see it all.
So I have gone to a site called readworks.org, and on this site there are lots of texts and they are separated by grade level. And this is a 4th grade text. It's called Inside and Outside Carlsbad Caverns. If you take a look here, the text is not written in a way that is conducive for a kid that is struggling with reading. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this text and I am going to bring it on over into OneNote and copy it in here. After that, I'm going to click on View, and then I'm going to click on Immersive Reader. And we're going to watch and see what happens specifically to the text. Now, there's lots of things that I can do here. So I can actually change the screen to be white, but for a lot of kids, that's hard for them to read on. I can change it to be black. I can change it to be sepia, which is a little bit easier on the eyes. I could even change it to lots of different colors. It gives me all these choices of colors. Now, this is great because there are kids that do struggle with being able to see text with certain colors, and having this kind of a filter actually makes it easier for them to be able to read. The other thing that I can do is I can choose the type of font that I want. Now, I only have 3 choices at this point in time, but that's okay. You ever notice how when you have certain texts, the A's do not show up the way that we write an A. This is the text A, and that can really be hard for a kid that has dyslexia or struggles with reading in general. You can change it to Sitka. It still has that funky A, but as soon as we change it to Comic Sans, you can see now we have the regular A on there. The next thing that you can do, which is really cool, is you can actually break this up into syllables. So if I click this right here, you're going to notice now that I can read this text and I can figure it out. So those kids that do know what the vowel patterns are, and there's 6 vowel patterns, they'll now be able to read this without having to spot and dot the entire passage in order to figure out all of the words. They'll be able to take a look at it and be able to read this as Cav earns. See how easy that is? Look at this one, located. So this makes it easier for them to be able to read. It will also read the text to them. So if you wanted to have the opportunity to be able to have them read it and then have them listen to it and then have them practice the fluency and read it again, this would give them an amazing opportunity to do that. I'm going to click play here so you can hear it.
New Mexico. The scene is a regular occurrence. The caverns, located in a United States national...
And I could even change it to be a female if I wanted to.
National Park are home to around 400,000 Mexican free-tailed bats that fly out into the night sky each evening at dusk to feed on nearby moths.
So it's got a pretty good reading speech. It's not something that is it's a little robotic, but not too robotic. It does have, some up and down that's going with it, which is fantastic. If we continue to take a look at some of the text, I can also make the text bigger and smaller. So notice here, I'm actually making it bigger for those kids that struggle with being able to see. Online, having the ability to switch the font size is really, really a great tool, because you never know what the text looks like on the child's side. If the child is on a phone or is on a tablet, sometimes Zoom will show everything really, really small in a small box, and the kids don't know sometimes to say that they need to make that box bigger. And so this actually helps solve that problem, because the words will definitely be big enough for them to be able to see. I'm going to move this back on down. And if I do have a kid who wants to have more text on the page at a time, I can even make it smaller. So I'm going to move it to about right here. We can also take a look, if we're looking at grammar, you have the ability to be able to choose the different grammar pieces, and they'll show up in different colors. You even have the option to be able to change the colors, and it can be really fun for the kids to, have some choice in all of those kinds of things. So I am going to turn all of those off. I can also show labels for them, or I can turn those off too. So you'll notice as soon as I do this, it tells me that this is a verb. So I'm going to click this off, and I'm going to go to now reading preferences. Right now I have a picture dictionary that is set up. So when I click on a word, it will then also give me a visual picture here to be able to take a look at. Now, there isn't a picture for every single word. Like if I click on Chihuahuan desert, I do not get here, obviously a picture with that. If I click on the word where, I don't get that either. But if I click on park, now I do. So this is really great for ESL learners and people that are working with ESL students or adults, any of that kind of stuff. It makes it really, really nice. And the pictures actually go with something that is a pretty good picture to be able to understand what the word is. And I really do like that. Let's keep taking a look here. I'm going to also show here, I can choose languages to translate into. Right now it's translating by word, but I can translate the entire document. So I know, Beth, you're watching this right now. I could go to an earlier version of this, and I could go to an easier, like first grade, second grade level over here, and I could then translate the whole entire thing into Spanish. And I've been told that the translation is the best translation that is around right now, which is awesome. I had another person ask me about, was there anything with Arabic? And all of this will translate as well into Arabic. So if I click here, I also have choices on what type of Arabic I want this to be. So if I want it to be Egyptian Arabic, I can translate the whole entire document into Egyptian Arabic. Or if I want it to be Saudi Arabia Arabic, I can translate the entire document to be that. I can also go back and forth between the original and the translation, which makes, again, just a really great tool to be able to utilize. It's also great for being able to communicate with parents that speak a different language, because you could write it down in English and then you could put the translation in, and then you could copy paste it and then send it in an email to that student's parents. Another thing that I really like, a lot of kids will struggle with being able to read line by line. With this tool, you have the ability to highlight the lines and move it down one by one. And on I can either use these tools right here to go up and down, or I can use it on my computer and I can now move it from line to line for my students so they can see the words and only focus on specifically the line they are reading. Now, I don't want to keep them on this forever. That can be a hindrance, right? So I can choose to open up more words at a time instead of it being something that, they're going to struggle with for a really long time. I do want to start weaning them off of a tool like this. And so then I can get 3 lines at a time. Again, it's not so frustrating for the child when they are trying to read. I really do think that this tool is a huge game changer, you guys. Now, I know I've had this question already asked by the ladies that came with me to the International Literacy Association. They wanted to know, well, Joanne, can I take the text that is inside of Kids A to Z and can I do the same thing? So let's take a look. I am going to open up my Kids A to Z account and I'm going to show you how to use a tool called Office Lens to translate a page. Now, I wouldn't be able to do this with my entire book, but I can take a picture and I can take an image and then I can translate it from there. So I'm going to go to my reading room with one of my students' books. I'm going to go to leveled books here. I'm just going to go to a higher level. Let's go to athletes. I'm going to click on, actually, I'm going to go to Alaska here. And let's go to a page with lots of writing on it. I'm just going to copy this right here. I'm going to capture this image right here. I'm going to save it using a tool called Jing. So Jing is taking a screen capture of whatever I select on the screen. I'm going to save this into my downloads. And now all I have to do is open up Office Lens. I did have to download Office Lens. And I'm going to click, I've got 3 dots. I'm going to import my image. Coming to what I just copied right here, that's in my documents. I'm going to open it up. And here is now my image that I took. I'm going to save this image and it is going to read it and bring it into OneNote. So I'm just going to click check here that that's the one that I want. It says it's waiting to transfer and now it's transferring. I could tap to open. And you can see that now it is opening the link and ta-da! All right, now wait, we're not done yet because I can click View, Immersive Reader, and here it is. So now, again, everything that I've done before. Now this has kept all of my specific things that I had before on there. So if I don't want it to break things up into syllables, I can turn that off. If I want to increase this, don't want to have increased spacing, I can turn that off. All the things that I don't want on there, I have the ability to turn off. So like, I don't want these all colored right now with the adverbs and the verbs and all of that, right? So here it is. And now I have the ability to be able to go on in and make some really awesome changes right inside of here.
So really great tool. I mean, when I saw this yesterday, you guys, I was like, this is crazy. This is awesome. So if you like this as much as I like this, I want you to hit that like and hit that subscribe.
All right, you guys. So in 2 weeks, I am going to be hosting a webinar that is going to be sharing information about how to close the reading gap a full year with 8 to 12 hours of instruction. If this is something that totally blows your mind away, you can't even imagine, and you want to learn more, then make sure to sign up. I've left a link inside of the description. Also, if you're interested in learning about some other reading tools that can help you with your online reading tutoring business, check out this video that I created on Raz Kids in the right-hand corner. You will be able to learn how to use Raz Kids to be able to teach reading online, and you will be able to see it live in action.